now that we've gone over how to identify these angles that are created by a transversal, we need to go over what's special about these angles. These angles are only special if the transversal intersects parallel lines. If the transversal does not intersect parallel lines, then there's nothing special about these angles. Now, these angles can be congruent, meaning they have the exact same measure, or they can be supplementary, meaning they can add up to be 180 degrees. The types of angles that are congruent are alternate interior angles. Here is an example of alternate interior angles. 3 and 6 are alternate interior angles. Those angles would be congruent. Name another pair of alternate interior angles besides 3 and 6. Alternate exterior angles are also congruent. Here's an example of alternate exterior angles, 1 and 8. Alternate exterior angles are also congruent. Name another pair of alternate exterior angles. Corresponding angles are also congruent. Here is an example of corresponding angles, 1 and 5. 8 and 4 are corresponding angles. Name another pair of corresponding angles. All these special types of angles are all congruent. They're all equal. Alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, and corresponding angles. The type of angles that are supplementary, the ones that add up to be 180 degrees, are consecutive interior angles. Here's an example of consecutive interior angles, 3 and 5. Another example of consecutive interior angles, 4 and 6. These consecutive interior angles have to add up to be 180 degrees. Once we know these facts, once they give us one angle measure, we can find other angle measures as long as the lines are parallel that are cut by that transversal. So what kind of angles are angle A up here, and H? What kind of angles are those? Those are alternate exterior angles. And what's special about alternate exterior angles? They're equal. That means if this one up here is 120 degrees, then H down here should also be 120 degrees. What kind of angles are A and E? A and E are corresponding angles. What's special about corresponding angles? Corresponding angles are equal. That means if the measure of angle A up here is 120 degrees, that means E better be 120 degrees. What kind of angles are A and D? A and D are vertical angles. We need to remember vertical angles and a linear pair. That means if angle A is 120 degrees, angle D should also be 120 degrees. What kind of angles are D and F? D and F are consecutive interior angles. What's special about consecutive interior angles? They're supplementary. They add up to be 180 degrees. That means if this one right here is 120, what's the measure of angle F? Angle F has to be 60 degrees because this one and this one have to add up to be 180 degrees. In this problem, we're going to use our knowledge of the special angles that are created by a transversal and the fact that these two lines, A and B, are parallel to solve for the value of x. First thing we need to do is identify what types of angles these are. By identifying what types of angles these are, it can help us set up an equation and solve for x. What types of angles are these two? These are alternate exterior angles. Once we identify what kind of angles they are, we need to know what's special about them. What's special about alternate exterior angles? Alternate exterior angles are equal. So that's going to help us set up this equation. That means this up here should be equal to this down here. 3x plus 20 should be equal to 140. Now I need to solve this equation, and I can determine what the value of x is. The opposite of adding 20 is subtracting 20. Opposite of multiplying by 3, dividing by 3. 120 divided by 3 is 40. I'm going to use my knowledge of the special angles created by transversal to determine what the value of x is. First thing I need to figure out is what kind of angles these are. What kind of angles are these? These are corresponding angles. I have corresponding angles in this problem. What's special about corresponding angles? Corresponding angles are equal. That means this is equal to this. That's going to help me set up an equation. 2x minus 10 should be equal to 80. Once I solve this, I'll determine what the value of x is. Opposite of subtracting 10, adding 10 to both sides. Opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. The value of x is 45. First thing I need to do in these type of problems is determine what kind of angles I have here. What type of angles are these? These are alternate interior angles. What's special about alternate interior angles? Alternate interior angles are equal. That's going to help me set up my equation. That means this is equal to this. 5x plus 25 is equal to 100. Opposite of adding 25 is subtracting 25. 5x is equal to, opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. I need to divide this side by 5 and this side by 5. X is going to be equal to 75 divided by 5 is 15. To solve these type of problems, I need to determine what type of angles I have here. That's what I need to do first. What type of angles do I have here? These are consecutive interior angles. What's special about consecutive interior angles? These type of angles add up to be 180 degrees. That's going to help me set up my equation. That means this plus this is going to be equal to 180 degrees. That means x plus 117 plus x plus 71 is equal to 180 degrees. I need to solve this. First thing I'm going to do to solve this is combine like terms. What does this equation look like after I combine like terms? My x's go together to give me 2x. 117 and 71 added together give me 188. Opposite of adding 188 is subtracting 188 from both sides. 180 minus 188, negative 8. Opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing both sides by 2. X is equal to negative 8 divided by 2, negative 4.